Hey folks, the Zelda series has always had a massive focus and attention to detail on symbolism, motifs, and deeper meanings behind designs. All throughout the series this can be seen. The upcoming installment to the series, Tears of the Kingdom, is no stranger to this, and that's going off just 4 trailers, a teaser clip, as part of a delay announcement, and a short gameplay session. Whilst we can pick up on a few different themes in this game, one in particular has caught my attention, and that is the importance of dragons. These majestic, or sometimes deadly creatures, have been a big part of Zelda lore for a long time. Skyward Sword, the first chronological game in the series, had a large story plot around them. Many years later in Breath of the Wild, we can see that the influence and presence of them is still very much alive. Tears of the Kingdom looks to be expanding on this massively. We've seen a ton of dragon symbolism and actual dragons, and I think that this is going to be a massive part of the game's story and lore. I haven't dipped my toes into the Zelda Fury world in a little while, and have been inspired to do so again by my good mate Triforce Trends, with his recent Fury video on the constructs. A fantastic video which you should check out, by the way. So my apologies in advance if I have some mistakes or gaps I didn't notice. Feel free to point them out and critique me in the comments. With all of that said, in today's video, let's explore my theory on the importance of dragons in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I'm beginning my push to reach my next goal of 200,000 subscribers, by the way, and would highly appreciate you joining the lovely folks already subscribed. You won't regret it. Also, hop in the Discord server to chat to myself and many other lovely people about Zelda and much more. And finally, be sure to go and grab yourself a snack or drink and send them in to get featured right here. And let's get into this one. To start this off, let's take a look at all of the dragons and dragon symbolism that we've seen so far. Starting with the dragons themselves, the new dragon. This is a new dragon to our knowledge, and it was originally only seen in a press release screenshot following the 4th trailer for the game. It's seen flying around this set of Sky Islands, which have been highly speculated to be part of the game's opening tutorial, especially with Link's 4 new abilities that we saw in the gameplay session. Speaking of that, we got another look at this dragon in the gameplay session. Whilst brief, it is a proper look at it circling this specific set of Sky Islands, confirming it to be the same as seen in this screenshot. Now, when this was initially shown off, many fans thought it may be a dragon we've seen before in Breath of the Wild. However, that is not the case. Upon further inspection and comparison, it is clear that this is indeed a new dragon. However, those from Breath of the Wild are not out of the picture, but we'll get to that shortly. This dragon appears to take on a sort of greyish colour and a mane, which is the key detail in identifying it. We've only seen it flying around these specific Sky Islands, so it may have some sort of connection to them, and maybe even the landmark tower on them. The next new dragon that we saw was this beast on the bridge of Hyrule. Definitely a minion of Ganon and not a friendly or divine dragon. It has been highly speculated that this winged beast is a new take on Gleeok, a classic multi-headed dragon from the original Legend of Zelda, as well as its other appearances. We can see it has 3 flaming heads, spikes on its body, and generally a very threatening look. I'm sure he's a big cutie in the end. It's not clear at this point if it's guarding something here, or just happens to be here. I'd imagine this dragon will serve as some sort of overworld boss. Perhaps there could even be multiple of them found in the overworld and beyond. There is one more dragon seen, Naydra. Early on in the gameplay session, we get a great view of Lanayru Mountain and a dragon we saw in Breath of the Wild. At first, I was a bit unsure and skeptical on if this is or isn't Naydra, but after asking around several friends, closely inspecting myself and comparing, I am pretty certain that this is indeed Naydra, specifically with the design of the horns/crown. It would also make a lot of sense given this is the mountain we first find this dragon at, although it doesn't appear to be directly at the mountain, just very close by. And I will note now, there is a chance it's not Naydra, and if that's the case, that's okay. It doesn't actually break this theory. That's it for actual dragons seen so far. However, there is a ton of symbolism and designs based on dragons. The first place to look at would be the game logo itself. We can see 2 dragons circling around the title. This could mean so many different things symbolically. Some fans view this as an Ouroboros, others disagree. Regardless of that, This design is very significant, as Zelda logos often have something largely hinting at a huge part of the story. For example, Majora's Mask has Majora's Mask, The Wind Waker has the King of Red Lions, Twilight Princess has the Fused Shadow, Skyward Sword has the Hylian Crest, and then with Breath of the Wild it drops the background image for a more simple flower in the title itself. I find this very fitting due to how big a change this game was to the series and its focus on the raw, wild Hyrule and exploring it. It also showed us the Malice Damage Master Sword. Every single one of those examples shows a large and significant part of the game in its logo. Some are blatantly more obvious than others, but regardless, they all do it. These two serpents mean something significant to the game's story, and we'll come back to them shortly. Another shot we can look at is this one of Link pushing these massive doors open. We can see two separate ones here on each of the two doors. Now, this is just the beginning of the architectural dragon designs and symbolism. This shot is somewhere in the sky by the looks of things, very likely a part of this tower structure we've been seeing a lot of. In and around that same area, we see a lot of dragon heads in the architecture, from the stairs to these large blocks. The islands are strong with this influence, and it's definitely no coincidence that this is where we've seen the word Zonai actually appear in a game for the first time. The new constructs that we saw appear to be works of the ancient Zonai tribe, who, whilst we know little about in facts, we know tons about in the theory and lore world. They drop an item called a Zonai charge upon defeating them. Now, some artwork was shown off online showing us a larger and likely stronger construct. A key detail here is its flamethrower dragon head, which is something we've seen Link with already in the second trailer for the game back in 2021. Link has it fused to his shield here. This furthers the connections of the dragons and their influence and importance. To bring this construct, Zonai and dragons bit to an end, the Zonai love a dragon. We've seen that in their work in Breath of the Wild and other information we've learned. I mean, for one, the big piece of work in their ruins is a literal dragon with its mouth open. It would seem they are strong worshippers of dragons, as well as other creatures, but we're focused on the dragons here. An additional point to add to all of these symbols and designs goes back to the game logo, specifically the one we saw when the new Tears of the Kingdom Switch OLED was showing off. We get a better and sharper look at this new text on the logo. Now, to clarify first and foremost, what I am about to say is by no means my discovery or work. I'm unfortunately not that talented. Users Zoe, Dazip, and Lorulian Historian were kind enough to allow me to share their work in the translation here. I've linked their Twitter pages below. They believe that this appears to read Jade Relic or Dragon Era. What is the importance of all of this? It's clear as day in my opinion that dragons are going to play a role in the story more than ever, perhaps to the same level as they did in Skyward Sword or even more, which is interesting as that game was remastered not too long ago, and it also includes Sky Islands. Coincidence? I think maybe. The fact that dragons are a big part of Zonai culture is fascinating to me. Are these islands literally works of the Zonai? It's definitely possible, as they also appear to have a unique rock pattern all over, not like the average rock you could dig up on Hyrule. Going back to the new dragons seen around these Sky Islands, I personally believe that this is going to be a dragon that the Zonai worshipped specifically. Their Hylia, so to say. I believe it is protecting the islands as well as the constructs, or more so watching over. The Zonai heavily worship dragons, and I'm confident that this is a result of that. Would I go as far to say that this dragon could be behind the creation of the Sky Islands? I shouldn't, but yeah, I would go that far. This game is proving that anything is possible. As dragons are often gods in Zelda games, perhaps that is exactly what we're seeing in this new dragon. A new dragon god. I certainly think that is the case and is a large part of why we're seeing so much of dragons in this game. As for the evil side of things with this Gleeok looking beast, you could interpret this as the other side of the coin, or it's just simply an enemy, which I believe is the case. As for Naydra, I think that the dragons from Breath of the Wild may be returning and have some sort of role in this game. To focus on the title of this video, I believe that dragons in Tears of the Kingdom are going to play an extremely important role in not just the active story that we'll be playing through, but also a significant role in teaching us more Zelda lore and history. The architecture and symbolism of them is very high. They are going to be crucially important to this game's story and how it's told. That is exactly what I believe their importance is in Tears of the Kingdom. A crucial factor to telling this next chapter of the famous and always confusing Zelda timeline. To conclude, don't take all of this as fact. I am speaking before the game is out and basing this purely on some things we know, some things we think, and some light speculation. I hope you enjoyed this as a sort of return to more theory and lore focused videos for me. I'd kinda gone away from them as topics were honestly harder to think of without a new Zelda game out. It's fair to say that Breath of the Wild has been intensely covered since it was released over 6 years ago. Tears of the Kingdom is on the way, and you can definitely expect a return of theory videos from me once the game is out, as well as all of my other content. Please do let me know what you think of this, and how important you believe dragons will be in Tears of the Kingdom. I welcome constructive criticism and building on this. By all means, share your thoughts. I love reading and replying. Let's get some discussions going. Be sure to drop a wee like down below if you enjoyed, and also consider subscribing for more fabulous Zelda content all the way up to release of Tears of the Kingdom and beyond. Follow my social media pages linked below to keep up to date or send in a snack or drink photo. And as always, a huge, massive, amazing shout out goes to all of my channel supporters. Thanks a ton. Your support really helps me to make these videos week in, week out, all month long, 365 days a year. If you'd like to join them and get yourself a shout out upon joining, and your name at the end of every video, then consider supporting via the links below. Thanks for watching. I hope you all have an amazing day or night, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.